So, was asked again for some recommendations. So this will be my second recommendation video, and I feel like it has more of an impact to allow somebody to make their own decision on some of the wines I'd recommend, and they could go to the store and see what they can find. Not every wine's obviously available at every store. Availability varies, especially when you're talking about today's recommendation, which is Tempranillo. The grape, a red grape Tempranillo, typically, I'm not sure if it originated out of Spain. I'm going to assume it came out of Spain. That is where you predominantly will find wines from Tempranillo. I recommend three areas. There's three major areas in Spain that make the best Tempranillo. There's Rioja, there's Ribera del Duero, and then there's Toro. They are different stylistically. I'd say Rioja is sort of the most elegant and maybe the most age-worthy. Toro's sort of the boldest and biggest, and then Ribera del Duero is somewhere in between. Now, you can see variants across that, but that's typically what I've seen. And I like all three regions equally. I guess if I had to pick one, maybe I'd pick Rioja just because it's a little bit more well-balanced, at least in my opinion. The other aspect to Spanish Tempranillo in those regions is there's an aging. So sometimes a bottle says Reserva. Reserva means nothing. In Spain, it's governed by law. Crianza, Reserva, and then Gran Reserva. And that just is how the aging goes, both in oak and not in oak. So both in oak and in bottle, they have to age it for X amount of years before they can release it to the public. So that's all that means. The prices will obviously vary. Crianza will be less expensive than Reserva, and Gran Reserva will be the most of it. Doesn't mean they're better. It's just that might just be, you want a little bit more oak or a little bit more age on your Tempranillo. You look for a Reserva, Gran Reserva, or maybe Crianza's perfect for you. A little bit younger and more vibrant, maybe fresher. With that said, I'm going to try to go region by region. For Ribera, there's a wine, Emilio. I just blanked. Emilio, what is the last name? So it's Emilio Moro, and it's in the $20s. So in the 20s, low 20s, Emilio Moro, Ribera del Duero. Another one from Ribera is Valderiz. So it's got like a reddish, well, the bottom part's like a red label, and it's got like sort of a V, a lady kind of carving into the snow. It's around the $27, $28 mark. That's a bigger and bolder Ribera for sure. That is a great wine. I love that wine. It does really well scoring-wise. Not that it matters much, but that wine's always great, and that's from Ribera del Duero as well. So those are the only two I'm mentioning from Ribera. I'll mention that one at the end. And they're both, one's low 20s, one's a little bit higher. I'm going to mention Toro next. So the region of Toro, these three wines are all from the same producer. The low end is called Romanico. It's about $15 to $20. The next one's called Almirez, in the 30s, 25 to 30. And then their big boy Victorino. Victorino is one of my favorite wines ever from Toro. It's about 60 bucks. Those are not very easy to find, but I put them in there because if you do, the Almirez is a fantastic wine for the price. Romanico is a great bargain wine, and Victorino is just an amazing wine. So I wanted to put those in there. The other one from Toro is called Numathia. Numathia's base level is about $20 to $30. They have more expensive ones. I think they have a $60 one and like a $200 one. I've had the $60 one and it's fantastic. I've never had their $200 one. But Numathia in the $20 to $30 range is also another great one. Oh, one more is Vatan. So Vatan's made by Jorge Ordonez, who's one of the most prolific Spanish wine importers to the United States. And Vatan is in the 30s to 40s and it's fantastic. It is a great wine out of Toro. So Tempranillo heavy, or mostly Tempranillo. So those are the ones from Toro. The last category, or last region that I'm recommending some from is from Rioja. And I only have two producers in here from Rioja. There are many others, but I believe these two can give you some of the best expressions of Rioja. One's Muga, and Muga's everywhere, which is also a plus. Muga Reserva, it's about $27 to $30, is fantastic for the price. Even better, but you got to step it up, is Muga's Seleccion Especial. And it's in the 40s, but it absolutely over delivers for 45 bucks. To me, it tastes like a $100 wine. It just is amazing. Amazing. I love it. If you're going to go a step higher, Muga has Prado Enea, which is nothing short of amazing, but it's also $75, $80. So Muga Reserva is your bargainish, really great Rioja, and then Muga Seleccion, Special Seleccion, and then the Prado Enea. I'm going to put all these in the video. I'll just list them out with the general prices. One other one from Rioja that I'm going to mention is our Lopez de Heredia. Yeah, again, if you can find them. The Crianza level's amazing. It's in the 30s. The Reserva's in the 60s, and I think the Grand Reserva is even higher. But it's probably the most restrained wine out of this whole list. It's sort of a classic style when wine was made a little less alcoholic and a little less bold, is really what Lopez de Heredia does. They even released their wines a little bit later, so they're even later on. I think their Reserva just came on the market, and it's like a 2010 or 2012. So it's already got almost a decade worth of aging on it. So if you want sort of a classic style of Rioja, what it used to taste like, they've stayed true to those roots. Muga's embraced more of the modern style with French barriques, more of an extracted style, but nothing short of delicious and amazing. The Prado and Seleccion, the Special Seleccion, are just unbelievably good wines, just in general. Forget Tempranillo, forget Rioja, just amazing wines in general in the category of wine. So those are the three major areas, and I'd recommend one more if you want a $15 wine, and it's from none of those regions, from La Mancha, which is a huge region in the middle of Spain. It's super hot. There's a wine called Volver. It's pretty readily available. I think you could even get it sometimes cheaper than $15. I think for the price between $12 and $15, it's a pretty good wine, and it's Tempranillo. So at the very bargain price there, I could certainly recommend that one. There's many others, but these are a great start for Tempranillo. And Spain is always a great value region, in my opinion. It's certainly gone up in price over time, but still phenomenally good. So, I'm going to wrap this one up. In the description or notes or something of this video, I'll put all these wines, list them, and put a general price range around them. And if you have any comments, or if you try one of the wines and like them, certainly let me know. Have a good night.